Today, we're getting a first look at the information regarding the Timeless Eternals. Now, this team looks like it may indeed be the strongest Alliance War team in Marvel Strike Force to date. Let's go ahead and look at a basic overview of the information. We'll start making comparisons about how that may be the case, and we'll let you be the judge. So this is the Timeless Eternals, and the quote there says they are built to last. Time itself is bending to make room for a new order, the Timeless Eternals. 3 new names are joining the ancient team: Gilgamesh, Thena, and Kingo. Standing beside them are 2 familiar faces, stepping into an upgrade and ready to return to power: Ikaris and Sersi. It is important to note that when Ikaris and Sersi came out, when they made their debut in the game, they were ridiculously strong. And we think that the developers are trying to capture that same mindset with the team now. The Timeless Eternals. Will let you once again be the judge. We're going to present a strong case here as to why that is indeed the case. Check out these new essential facts about the Timeless Eternals, then head below for the details. The Timeless Eternals specialize in Alliance War and Battle World and become more dangerous the longer a fight drags on. This is good news. Battle World teams, we need some of those. As newer people are coming into the game, they don't have a stack of Battle World teams to use. The best Battle World teams are made by you. They're made by the community, and that's great. The theory crafting, that's what we want. But sometimes people just need a nice generic push in the right direction. So the Timeless Eternals will help to fill that role, as well. As I said, they look like they're going to be horrifically strong in Alliance War. Gilgamesh is the keystone of the team and the only source of a brand new effect, Eternal Saga. Thena leads the front line with more ways to gain taunt than any other character in Marvel Strike Force. So we really want to take a look at her stats. If she's always going to be taunting, her health pool needs to be high. Her ability to defend herself needs to be high. So I'm very curious to see what that's going to look like. Kingo closes the door on weakened enemies, chaining ultimates against anyone who drops below half health. So again, thinking back to the way Ikaris works, how he was able to get that double tap in the same vein that you see Damon Hellstrom doing. If you have a character like that who's able to get double hits off, and then you have another character who's going to just start chaining ultimate attacks when people drop their health, that can be extraordinarily devastating. A big snowball, a big roller coaster of destruction. Alliance War and Battle World built for the long haul. The Timeless Eternals are built to punch holes into Alliance War helicarriers and shake Battle World continents. Gilgamesh keeps the team upright with shared healing. Hina refuses to quit thanks to a taunt-heavy kit, and Kingo mops up anyone who slips below 50% health. So we're getting a glimpse there as how the team is going to work. Gilgamesh has this shared healing ability. Thena is going to be taunting, so we're going to need to punch through her to get to Gilgamesh to stop whatever's going on. But if she's continually being healed, if she has a high defense, that's going to be tough. And in the meantime, if the opponent starts to lose their health, Kingo just gets to tee off on them. Eternal Saga. This is the thing right here that's going to hold the team together. Eternal Saga, a team that ages into power. Eternal Saga is a new effect anchoring this squad, courtesy of Gilgamesh, who is the only character who can apply it. Once it's active, allies with Eternal Saga become immune to health percentage attacks. They pick up a hefty block chance and block amount boost. They turn into focus tanks in Alliance War. Supports on the team also gain bonus drain and counter while Eternal Saga holds. There are a few characters that come to mind when we talk about percentage-based attacks. Apocalypse is one of them. If we look at the empowered section on Apocalypse, his passive ability, the Omega, he's going to heal for a certain portion of his health, attack the primary target for damage, an additional 100% damage in drain, and then 60% of the target's max health. So we would use this to really just knock somebody out, get somebody off the board. And since we know we need to target Gilgamesh to stop that Eternal Saga, it'd be a great idea to use Apocalypse. But we recognize it says that this is not something that's going to be available. I'm wondering how the team is going to do that. And just a thought, but are we beginning to see individuals that are going to be able to resist Professor X? One of his most devastating moves does the same thing, does it not? Does it not remove a percentage of an individual's max health? So his ultimate psionic pacification attack all enemies that are under 25% health for 25% of the target's max health. So it doesn't do true damage. It just says it's going to take a percentage of their health away. So if that's something that's not going to happen, will they be able to resist this effect, or will the second portion apply that they would simply just get attacked for 750% piercing damage? Which, if you only got a quarter of your health left, maybe you're not able to survive that. But I'm just interested to see, is that interaction intended? Are we starting to see characters that are going to be able to resist what Professor X is doing? Let's start with Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh is the linchpin of the Timeless Eternals. He's the team's sustain engine and the only source of eternal saga. But don't mistake him for a pure support. His ultimate can still finish off critical health enemies in a hurry. Gilgamesh is only the second character in Marvel Strike Force with a shared drain mechanic. Annihilus was the first, but his version keeps the healing exclusive to the Timeless Eternal allies. He's the only source of the Eternal Saga effect, and in Alliance War, he's a hard counter to teams that spam offense up or defense up across their whole roster. Stack those buffs wide enough, and he answers with a free use of his special ability. So we see we are indeed entering into the next phase of the meta. Gilgamesh has an ability that is also present on Annihilus. It's not quite as potent, but it is an ability that only Annihilus has. For example, it says he has this on all of his abilities: attack primary target for damage, distribute drain gain from this attack to 5 random allies or self. So Gilgamesh has a similar ability, with the exception that it will not be to random allies. It will only be to the Timeless Eternals. As the ability says, every hit from Gilgamesh spreads healing across the entire squad, and his special is the trigger for Eternal Saga, turning his allies into a nightmare to finish off. Stack up enough Timeless Eternal allies, and that saga just keeps refreshing itself, chipping away at trauma and safeguard, and eventually flipping the board in his team's favor outright. Thena. Thena is the front line of the Timeless Eternals. She soaks up hits, mitigates damage, and holds more ways to gain taunt than anyone else in the game. She's got more paths to taunt than any character currently in MSF. She can call in Gilgamesh for assists, cashing in on his powerful bonus attacks. While Eternal Saga is active, Thena can shut down offensive battlefield effects from ever landing on her side of the field. Her special lets her shrug off negative effects and slam a stun onto whoever is already hurting, all while grabbing more taunt. Her ultimate hits like a truck, steals health off everyone caught in the blast. Kingo. Kingo is the single target blaster of the Timeless Eternals, and he's built to close out fights once the enemy starts to crack. He can chain ultimate after ultimate if you keep enemies dropping below half health. He's one of the few characters in Marvel Strike Force who can stack 3 full turns of ability block on a single target. And once again, that's highlighted for a reason that is significant. You can get rid of negative effects in 2 ways. You can clear negative effects, or you can reduce the duration of negative effects. The overwhelming majority of abilities that reduce duration reduce by 2, right? They reduce by 2. So if you have 3 stacks of ability block, you're still going to have 1 left. That character will still be controlled. He can lock people down. That is amazing. He strips away charged and revive once, denying enemies their best outs. And we recognize there are many strong Alliance War teams that have built-in charge mechanics, built-in revive once. So this team is going to be a strong counter to a lot of different people. Kingo keeps the team's special charge with his basic, and his special can lock a target down with a full 3 turns of ability block. His ultimate is where he shines brightest. After a kill, he repeats the attack against the next weakest enemy over and over, stripping revive once along the way so nothing comes back. That sounds horrendously powerful. I want to see it in action. Updates to Ikaris and Sersi. Ikaris and Sersi aren't sitting this one out. Both are stepping into the Timeless Eternal trait with a fresh tier of boosted stats and updated kits, tuned to fight alongside the new recruits and hold their own in Alliance War and Battle World. Let's look and see how this team is actually going to function. Gilgamesh is going to go first. He has the speed of 123. His traits: hero, cosmic, mystic, support, timeless, eternal. So all of these characters share the trait hero, cosmic, mystic, and timeless, eternal. The only thing that changes is their role. Gilgamesh is going to go first once again at 135. What does that mean? We'll start out with his passive, Epic of Gilgamesh. In War or Battle World, after all other characters on spawn effects, if this character has 3 or more timeless eternal allies, he will gain Eternal Saga. So just showing up, Eternal Saga is active. We have 1 stack of Eternal Saga. On enemy turn, if 5 or more enemies have death proof, speed up, or offense up, or if this character and 4 timeless eternal allies have slow, attack with this character's special Meteor Assault at level 7. So just to reiterate what's happening here, he's going to wait till the other characters, everybody else on the field, activates their on-spawn effects. That's going to give people buffs and debuffs. When it's the enemy's turn, this passive will check and see if 5 people have death proof, speed up, offense up on the opposing side. Now, I don't know if he's just looking for 5 overall, right? If there's just 5 things active overall on the other side, or they have to have 5 death proofs. Am I making sense? Combination, or if they have to have 5 death proofs, or if your team has 5 slows. So if that happens, you will activate Meteor Assault. So I start thinking about teams like the Infestation team, the Retcon team, which just has moves that activate. You didn't have to use your energy. The ability just activates. So when it's your turn, you can still use that ability. But if it checks, sees that it's happening, it will activate Meteor Assault. Built into his passive is 25% drain. In War, if this character has 3 or more timeless eternal allies, enemy damage reduction and resistance can only be increased by positive effects. While this character has Eternal Saga, this character cannot gain trauma, bleed, vulnerable, exhausted, or darkness. And I believe this is something we're going to see on all these characters' passive. You cannot apply trauma and bleed to them if they have Eternal Saga, and he's giving that to them right out of the gate as long as you have enough members. It looks like you need 4 of the Eternal members to make this happen. And in War, enemies cannot generate barrier. For example, if we look at Silver Surfer Breaker, right, he's the primary member of the Omen team. If we take a look at his passive ability, it says on spawn, apply defense up for 2 turns and offense up for 2 turns to self and all Omen allies. So Gilgamesh, right, his passive is going to look out there to see after everybody else has done their thing, right? So on spawn, this is going to happen. Everybody else has done their thing. Gilgamesh's passive is going to trigger. Other notable characters are Darkstar from the Winter Guard, and even Quicksilver Symbiote of the new Symbiote 6 team. He gives slow to all the enemies on the opposing side. So that should trigger this special ability, Meteor Assault. It says energy cost 8/8. So the ability can trigger once again, and I still didn't actually use it. When it's my turn, I still get a chance to use the ability. So this is going to be happening relatively quickly either way, because Gilgamesh is the first character to act on the team, whether it happens passively or actively. In War or Battle World, if this character does not have Disrupted, you're going to apply 1 turn of Eternal Saga, up to a maximum of 2, to self and all timeless eternal allies. If this character has Eternal Saga, reduce trauma on self and all timeless eternal allies by 1, and reduce safeguard on all enemies by 1. If this character has 2 turns of Eternal Saga, you will reduce trauma and safeguard by an additional 1. You're going to flip all positive effects into negative effects on each enemy. So they put their defense up, right? They put their offense up. Now, before the match even begins, they have the opposite. They have inherently defense down, offense down, and then you're going to apply trauma to all enemies, locking that in place. Clear all negative effects on self and all timeless eternal allies. So we got rid of our slow if we have it. Then you're going to attack everyone, 300% damage, and distribute drain gain from this attack to all timeless eternal allies and self. This attack cannot be blocked. So this is something, again, that can happen passively. It can just trigger when you have enough positive effects on the opposing side, negative effects to self. You have this out of turn attack that gives drain, and flips all of their positive effects into negative effects and locks them down with trauma. That is incredible. We have to build energy to use Gilgamesh Ultimate, so his basic is probably what you'll use next time it's his turn. Basic is Timeless Strikes. You'll attack primary target for damage, distribute drain gain from the attack to all Timeless Eternal allies, steal 10% health. We got health steal. Steal 10% health from the primary target and redistribute to self. This ignores heal block. If Thena is an ally, you're going to clear a negative effect from Gilgamesh and Thena. Otherwise, you're going to clear one random negative effect from a Timeless Eternal ally or from Gilgamesh. If this character has ability block, you will gain an assist from Thena. This attack redistributes 10% of this character's max health. So Gilgamesh is also acting as the health bar for the team. He will continue to redistribute health whenever he uses this basic attack. If he's ability blocked, so if you've controlled Gilgamesh, then he's still going to be able to use his basic. He will do that, and he will get an assist from Thena, which when we get to her kit, we'll see how that interaction plays out. So if Gilgamesh is called in for a counterattack, he's going to attack the primary target for damage, 17% piercing. So that seems to be something that exists on all the assist mechanics that we've seen in recent history. Distribute drain gain from this attack to all Timeless Eternal allies. Steal 7% health from the primary target and redistribute it to self, ignoring heal block. If Thena is an ally, clear one negative effect from Gilgamesh and a random Thena ally. Otherwise, clear random negative effect from the Timeless Eternal ally or yourself. This attack redistributes a maximum of 10% of this character's max health. So even when he's called in for an assist, you still get health steal and you still get a redistribution, and it will chip away at your team's negative effects, which is great. Depending on how we want to do it as we look deeper, the Striker Skirmisher combo might be something we want to look at. Gilgamesh calls in Thena a lot. Thena also calls in Gilgamesh a lot. So once we're able to look at those two characters, see what their abilities are, it'll help us to make a decision on how we want to move. That brings us to Gilgamesh Ultimate Eternal Barrage. So the energy cost starts out at 1 of 3. So if we get some extra energy, we can use this earlier, but it looks like we're going to need 2 turns to get it charged up. You're going to attack primary target for damage, bonus attack 2 more times for damage, distribute drain gain from the first attack to all Timeless Eternal allies or self. The attack cannot be blocked, and he gains an assist from Thena. The next person to act on the team will be Kingo. He has a speed of 133. Again, traits are the same, except for he is the blaster of the team. Kingo's passive is Bollywood Legend. If this character's health is full at the start of the match, the first time this character drops below 50% health, you're going to clear all negative effects from him, heal for 50% of his max health. So he rebounds back to full power if he started out the match at full power. The first time an enemy drops below 50% health, generate 10 ultimate ability energy for self, get speed up. And if he has Eternal Saga, you're going to fill that speed bar by 15%. So he really is raring to go here. On enemy death, if this character has Eternal Saga, fill speed bar by 15% for all of the Timeless Eternal allies. So we have an effect here, right? That's kind of operating like that Carnage. You start knocking people down. If you have the Timeless Eternal effect on, you're speeding up the whole team so that they can act faster. They're combining a lot of things in here. And if you just knock a single enemy below 50% health, you're making it so this character gets to go faster because he wants to get that ultimate ability off. In War or in Battle World, if this character has Eternal Saga, when it's the enemy's turn, if they have Revive once, if they have Charge, you're going to attack them with this character's ultimate Digital Assault at level 7. So once again, just out of turn damage, right? Just for activating, just for bringing in a character that has Revive once, just for bringing in a character that has Charge, you're going to start taking hits from Kingo. If the character has 3 Timeless Eternal allies, enemies cannot gain Evade. While this character has Eternal Saga, they cannot gain Trauma, Bleed, Vulnerable, Exhausted, Darkness. So Kingo's ultimate is Digital Assault. We don't have an energy cost listed. We're just going to assume it's 10. We know it's 10, right? We know it's 10. We don't know what we start with. But now we've seen some ways that can simply activate on its own. What will happen? Well, you're going to attack the primary target for piercing damage, clear revive once, and charge. Repeat this attack 4 additional times. On kill, repeat this attack, targeting the most injured enemy. The repeat attack prioritizes non-minion enemies. Enemies killed by this attack cannot be revived. So knock people down into the 50% range. He wants to go. If he gets an opportunity to go, or the rest of the team gets an opportunity to go, he's going to use this attack. It attacks 4 times. If he knocks somebody into the 50% range, he wants to go faster. He wants to go again. If someone's killed, it pulls the team up, right? Just like Carnage. Everybody starts getting that speed boost. And again, he's going to do this 4 times. And on kill, it happens again. So this team has a potential to snowball very quickly. Once you start to lose, you're going to lose, right? That's what seems to be what's going on here. Once you start to lose, you're going to fall behind the team quickly and they're going to eliminate us. It looks ridiculous. I don't have the energy cost for his moves, so we'll just go through them. His special is Star Power. He will attack the primary and adjacent targets for damage, flip one positive effect into a negative effect. If the primary target doesn't have any positive effects, apply ability block up to a maximum of 3. So why wouldn't the target have any positive effects? So remember the Eternal Saga, it can flip things. We haven't looked at Ikaris and Sersi yet, but remember Sersi flips things. The interaction between between Gilgamesh and Thena flips things. So it's possible you have somebody that doesn't have any effects, you can lock them down. And notice, in War or Battle World, prolong the duration of Eternal Saga on self by 1 up to a maximum of 2. So we have characters now contributing to the length of that Eternal Saga. With 3 times Eternal Allies, if this character has Eternal Saga and an adjacent target does not have any positive effects, you're going to apply 1 turn of ability block up to a maximum of 3 to that character. Repeat this attack 2 additional times. So he's going to attack, flip positives to negatives. He's going to repeat the attack 3 times. If during that process you don't have any positive effects, you get ability block for each instance of that happening. In addition, the character next to him, the target, can have the same thing happen. You could lock down 3 members of the team with 3 stacks of ability block. That's crazy. His basic, his finger guns, attack primary target for damage and apply defense down. Generate a special ability energy for 1 timeless eternal ally that did not have full energy on the start of the current turn. Very similar wording if he's called in for an assist. Next character to move, I believe, is Ikaris. I believe it's saying here that he has a speed of 128. A little bit of buff to his stats. Not insane. We'll have to see how this works, but he does have a buff to his stats. Ikaris passive, Eternal Leader. If this character's health is full at the start of the match, the first time this character drops below 50% health, clear all negative effects on the character, heal for 25% of this character's max health. So not as robust as Kingo, but still he is going to rebound. On turn, if he's not stunned, he's going to clear ability block and 2 random negative effects from himself, Sersi, and the most injured timeless eternal ally. So even if you're trying to control them, if you're not controlling him, he's going to put the team back in action. Attack a random enemy with death proof for 180% damage. Clear death proof on that enemy. Again, this is on his passive. So if you have an opponent with death proof, he's just going to attack that person and take the death proof away. Then apply a death proof to a maximum of 5 for himself and all timeless eternal allies. On turn, if any timeless eternal is an ally, heal himself for 10% of this character's max health. While this character has Eternal Saga, they can't get trauma, bleed, vulnerable, exhausted, darkness. So it appears that Ikaris and Sersi are not going to be as strong in the same sense that they were. They're going to be more of an annoyance to keep pinging away at you and taking away the advantages that you have. All Ikaris abilities come preloaded. Let's see what they do now. Ultimate is Eternal Assault. So that's the one where he jumps up in the air, fires a blast down, hits everybody on the field. You're going to attack all enemies for damage. On kill, if the character has Eternal Saga, repeat the attack. All right, that is a change. That is a change. That used to be just standard how his character works. Now, for this to activate, he has to have the Eternal Saga activated, and he'll get that double hit. If Sersi is an active ally, then if this character has Eternal Saga, you'll reduce Safeguard on all enemies with immunity or defense up by 2. Wow. So if they have Safeguard, immunity, defense up, the thing that usually we look for to keep our team strong, he's simply going to reduce that Safeguard. So then with the Safeguard gone, it will flip all those positive effects into negative effects. So now instead they will have disrupted and defense down. He'll attack all enemies for damage, reducing the speed bar for all enemies by 25% instead. That is a change. That is a significant change. On kill, if the character has Eternal Saga, he repeats the attack. Attack all enemies for 400% damage. These attacks cannot be blocked or dodged. His special ability is Superior Blast. Attack primary target for damage. If the character has Eternal Saga, he will reduce all death proof. Attack all adjacent targets for damage. On target block, then you will bonus attack the primary and adjacent targets for damage, maximum of 2 bonus attacks. So targeting characters that have a very high block chance can get you some extra hits on said character. You're going to apply 2 death proof to Ikaris and 4 random timeless eternal allies. So if you have the whole team, they're all going to get 2 death proofs. You will also get an assist from a random Sersi ally and gain an assist from a random timeless eternal ally. So again, that's significant. That's significant. As we look at those passive or those basic abilities, some interesting things could happen. Ikaris basic is Cosmic Burst. You're going to attack your primary target for damage. If you got other timeless eternals, you will bonus attack 2 times for more damage. If your allied Sersi has more than 50% health, you're going to give offense down to Sersi. If she's below 50% health, you give regeneration to Sersi, and you're going to gain an assist from her. Speaking of which, it would again be Sersi's turn. And again, as we look at the stats here, they don't seem to be overwhelmingly high. But that damage stat looks a lot bigger. That damage stat looks a lot bigger. They're making sure that she does a lot more damage. They're giving her a lot more health. She seems to be like she's going to be part of the team. And if you're going to drop somebody, maybe it's Ikaris. I don't know. So her passive ability is Eternal Elementalist. If this character's health is full at the start of the match, first time this character drops below 50% health, clear all negative effects, heal for 25% of this max health. If she's not stunned, you're going to attack a random enemy for damage. If they got death proof, you can give death proof to the timeless Eternals and clear their death proof. So on turn, I don't know if that necessarily means Sersi's turn or anybody's turn. If you got Eternal allies, you're going to heal them for 10% of this character's max health. And while this character has Eternal Saga, once again, they cannot gain Trauma, Bleed, Vulnerable, Exhausted, or Darkness. So this has been simplified. There's a lot of changes here. It's just been made a lot more simple and compact to fit in and let the newer members shine. On Sersi's first turn, she will have her ultimate available, Elemental Slam. You're going to clear 3 negative effects from her and all of the timeless eternal allies. If you're in War and Battle World, they're going to flip 3 negative effects into positives on your timeless eternal allies. You're going to attack all for damage. If Ikaris is an ally, then you reduce speed bar for all enemies by 25%. This is something that we're used to. So if the character has Eternal Saga, you're going to then apply bleed, heal block, and trauma to all enemies. So again, I believe this is now the 3rd character, right? The 3rd turn. So your 3rd opportunity to do something to their speed, give people bleeds, heal blocks, and traumas. You're going to put speed up for 2 turns and regeneration for 2 turns to her and the rest of the timeless eternal allies. Excuse me, that's just 2 stacks of regeneration. In War or Battle World, you get 2 ability energy for her and for Ikaris. That 2 ability energy would allow you to use her special the next time it's her turn, because her special ability is at 3 of 5. We need 2. So it would make it so we could use this ability on her next turn. Her next turn, you could apply stun to the primary target. It's going to call in 2 timeless eternal allies to attack that target. Barrier her and Ikaris for 15% of Sersi's max health. In War or Battle World, instead, what you're going to do is bury her and the Eternal team as a whole for 30% of her max health. Her basic is Matter Transmutation. You're going to copy 2 random positive effects, except for Taunt, on the primary target. Put that on her. Attack the primary target for damage. If Ikaris is there, you're going to flip 2 random positive effects to negatives. gain an assist from Ikaris in War or Battle World. Instead, what you're going to do is copy those positive effects. And if Ikaris is an ally, once again, you will flip those positive effects on that target to negative effects. So you have the inverse between those two characters. You're going to be flipping negatives on your team and flipping positives on their team. And since you're going to be assisting each other, it happens twice every time one of the individuals attacks. That brings us then to Thena. She has a speed of 122. She's going last, but she is the protector of the team. She goes slow for a reason. Her passive is Deviant Slayer. Whenever an enemy gains taunt, if she doesn't have Eternal Saga, if she doesn't have taunt, then she will gain taunt. If the character's health is full at the start of the match, the first time she drops below 50%, she's going to rebound for 25% of her character's max health. In War, if she has 3 or more Eternal Allies, the timeless Eternal Allies, the speed of all enemies can only be altered by positive and negative effects. The speed of the timeless Eternals can also only be reduced by negative effects. Okay, so we have speed control mechanics in place for their game mode. When she has Eternal Saga, on any turn, if she's not taunting, she's going to taunt. She's going to get Safeguard, and she's going to heal for 15% of her max health if she enters a situation where she doesn't have taunt on anybody's turn. Obviously, she can't get the trauma, bleed, vulnerable, exhausted. Enemy blasters cannot gain charged. Notable enemy blasters are Odin, Electro from the Dread team, as well as Doctor Strange Heartless from the Brimstone team. There's a lot of other blaster characters that this would apply to, but the main point to keep in mind is they simply cannot gain charge. So we know that a lot of these characters, if they lose charges and something happens, but they won't be able to lose it because they never gained it. She also reduces the passive assist chance of all enemies by 100%, so no automatic assists, right? ISO attacks and all that still work. Enemies cannot apply battlefield effects to the allied side. I believe that applies to Odin and to Null. All her abilities are available turn 1. Let's see what they do. Her ultimate is Eternal Arsenal. Energy costs 5/5. You're going to attack the primary target for damage, steal health from the primary target, and redistribute to self. So again, she's going to be taunting. She needs ways to keep her health up. It looks like health steal is built into her kit. Also attacking the adjacent targets for damage, stealing more health there. If the primary target has taunt, then she gains an extra taunt up to a maximum of 3. This attack bypasses heal block and redistributes a maximum of 30% of this character's max health. So loose math says that she could take 50% health from the other characters combined, but it's going to cap out at 30%. Her special is Fearless Charge. If Gilgamesh is an ally, you're going to clear 3 negative effects from Thena. If this character has Eternal Saga, clear an additional 3 negative effects from her and then get Safeguard. She's also going to get Taunt for 2 turns, attack the most injured enemy for damage, and apply Stun. This attack ignores Stealth and Taunt, so even if somebody's hiding in Stealth, you can still stun them. If they're the most injured enemy, if there's a Taunt up, you can still stun somebody. And it prioritizes non-summon support enemies. I think that's if we're using the character on defense. Then it will go after non-summon enemies, then after summon enemies in that order. Gain an assist from a Gilgamesh ally. Her basic is Double Dash. Attack primary target for damage, plus 10% damage per positive effect on that target, and then repeat the attack. Gain defense up. If this character already has defense up, she's going to get offense up. If she's already got offense up, then she gets speed up. If this character has ability block, then we're going to gain an assist from a Gilgamesh ally. So if she's locked down, she's still going to use her basic, and it's going to call in Gilgamesh. If she's called in for an assist, which she will be, when Gilgamesh goes, when he takes a turn, you're going to attack the primary target still for damage. Some of it's piercing. Still got pretty much the same things. Extra damage for positive effects. Defense up to offense up to speed up. So I know that was a lot of information, but how are you feeling about this team? I still got some work to do with my Eternals. Again, Hyperion is not included. We just filtered by Eternals. Hyperion is not included. But my Ikaris and my Sersi, they got a lot of way to go. If we're going to be powering them up, we do got some diamonds hanging out from just from playing the game over time. So what does your team look like? Which one of those members do you think will be most impactful? We see that there is a potential, again, for a serious snowball effect. You're going to be flipping a lot of their effects into negative effects. There's a lot of people that have out of turn attacks. A lot of she has speed control, at least Sersi does. This Eternal Saga, I don't think it doesn't sound like it's a battlefield effect, right? It sounds more like it's a positive effect, right? A special ability that'll like an icon that'll be above the character. It's probably yellow, is what I'm thinking. Um, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think that that is going to be a battlefield effect? Is that how it's described? I don't think so. But the Eternal team was ridiculously strong. There's like so much going on in Marvel Strike Force today. So hey, there's a video out there about the Spider Tower. So if you haven't seen that, there's video out there about the Scorpion Breaker. Check that out. So much going on in the game right now. How are you feeling about Marvel Strike Force? Make sure that you're staying cool. It's hot out there. Take care of yourself and your family. Peace.